I'm Ryan Stevens with the Racing with Ryan podcast.
And I'm Tom Stout with Speedway Video, and this is Do A Burnout.
And joining us on this episode, our very special guest, is Missy, driver of the number 3 Bomber A, and she's going to tell us all about herself here.
So how are you with spicy foods?
Honestly, I'm like 50-50. Sometimes I can handle it. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh, this is a little bit much, but I did the 1 chip challenge, so I feel like this will be okay.
You say you're 50-50 on it, so you'll probably like 3 of these.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I have not braved the 1 chip challenge. Have you?
No, I've never done that. It sounds pretty brutal.
It's bad. By the hour mark, I was throwing up. I had a cramp.
No.
I was sweating. I was like, I'm never doing this again. And then next year, I did it again.
Yeah.
That sounds awful, and I like doing this, so I don't think I'll do that. Sauce number 1. This is one I made myself.
Okay.
This is what I call the Hot Lap Sweet Jalapeno Sauce. All natural. Jalapenos, sugar.
This is the one being homemade in your mason jar that's been... We've been using the word, I don't know if marinating is the right term,
right?
But it seems to be getting hotter each episode that we taste it.
It definitely has a little bit of a kick, but like, it's good. It reminds me of the jalapeno poppers. That's what it reminds me of.
You made your debut racing, in our racing world anyways, driving a powder puff race back in 2023.
Yes.
Is that what made you want to get into racing in a regular basis, or did you have aspirations of racing before that?
I have always wanted to be a driver. I didn't really know where to start because for me, I didn't come from a racing family, but I always dreamt of a racing family coming from me. Like, I always loved cars. I was always into cars. It didn't matter what it was. Like, I just wanted to be around it. I had first started like ever tracking, which was my project car, which is the 2003 Ford Mustang that I have, and I just took that out to the firm. Took that out for like a little events they had, you know, just got the feel for it, and then I was like, wow, this is like really what I want to do. Like, I always had like an interest in like just racing. Like, I didn't care what it was. Like, if I could experience it and see if I liked it, that's all I really wanted to do. And Eddie was like, you want to do the powder puff? And I was like, yeah, I want to do the powder puff. Like, that sounds sick.
Can't turn that down, right?
And honestly, like, I had no seat time, not really much experience other than, you know, just watching NASCAR and just like watching the races, like kind of studying it. Before that, I had basically rewatched all of the Bomber A videos from Speedway Video.
Well, that's quite a library.
Yes, I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning with a notebook, just studying it, writing notes like, why is this, why is that, you know, just so I could ask questions and learn.
See, that's smart, because most of the gals just hop in the car and just give it their best. So,
yeah.
Like, you did your homework.
Yeah, I did. And then I also, like, I gave it my all, but I also kind of kept it on the safer side. I probably could have pushed a little bit harder, but I didn't want anything to happen to the car and mess up Eddie's season or anything like that. So me just receiving top 3 was just like a dream come true. That was my first trophy. Like, that was my first really like experience anything competitive, and I was like, I want to keep doing this.
It's good to know that somebody did that and then wanted to get behind the wheel full time and be part of the race.
Because like, I've always like been interested into it, but like, again, I didn't know where to start.
Right.
I didn't know how to start. And then when Eddie was like, you know, let's go, and I was like, okay, that's fantastic. And then especially with starting a season now, like really getting the feel for it, I'm like, yes, this is something I want to do.
That's awesome.
I want to invest my time and money into it. My son loves it.
I'm sure.
So I was like, it's definitely something I'm gonna continue.
Probably feel like a hero now.
Oh yeah. Every time he sees that picture and the trophy in my room, he's like, because he's little, he's like, Mommy won. I was like, yeah.
There you go.
I was like, Mommy got up there though, podium.
This is the Bajan pepper sauce by Pirate's Lantern.
The one everyone calls the mustard.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Make sure I dab it so Skinny doesn't go, you didn't dab it.
Yeah, you got a tough draw following Skinny.
Right.
That's not the first time I've dropped one of these things.
I feel like yours had a little bit more of a kick though.
Yeah, right?
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's like we need to
swap them.
Yeah, like this will become the caution laps.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's like this.
We're gonna start with the caution,
staging.
not a green light.
Right.
Warm up.
Fine, I'll make a paste slap sauce next time.
Right, precisely.
That'd be
So,
great.
you're currently in your rookie season.
Yes.
You know, you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
What is the key lesson that you feel you've taken away so far from your experience on track?
Nothing goes as planned. Nothing goes as planned, because like, I try so hard, and I should have known this from racing at the firm and like my Mustang and everything like that, but like, I try so hard to be prepared as much as I can be as a driver. Like, with Eddie, it's his car and everything like that, so, you know, I can, like, recommend changes, like, that work for me and stuff like that. But just nothing ever goes as planned, ever. Like, my first feature, I had not been in the car since the powder puff. So, like, that whole off time of not being in a car, not racing, like, I wasn't even racing my Mustang or anything like that. So, just not being in the car and then basically, like, getting thrown out with all the guys, I was like, I'm in my head, I'm nervous. And then I was dealing with, like, a lot of visibility issues and stuff like that because when we did the measurements for the seats, because, like he had mentioned before, like, Eddie's a lot taller than me. And so we had a lot, like, I think the seat came 10 inches forward. But when we did the seat and everything, being on the track, like, I needed to come up a couple more inches, like maybe like a cushion or something like that, which is actually funny. I had a customer come in with a cushion because she's shorter than me, and I asked her where she got it because it looks like a regular car seat, like that would be in a Silverado
like a
or
booster
something.
seat almost.
Kind of, yeah. And I asked her where she got it, and she sent me the link. So that's what was in the car, the second feature. So yeah, that was things that, like, you thought you were ready for, but that didn't work out, and it was like, okay, cool.
Like, once you lock into the position actually under race conditions, you know, posture changes, what you need to look at changes.
Right. Your whole attitude, like, everything. So, my first feature, I kind of had choked up because I think there was the two 88s that were rookies as well, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I thought I was way closer to him. And Bobby Blake was the one that actually had pointed out in his video that I was clear, but I thought I wasn't. So I didn't want to door check him, so that's when I had choked up, and I did what any rookie would do and hit the brakes, spun myself up, gave the little introducing to the wall.
Yep.
Which was my biggest fear, so I felt like after that, I was like, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, cool, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
but
the
it
best
wasn't
of the best
that
hit
bad.
the wall, so, you know,
it
you're up
sounds
there
kind of
with
like what you might want out of a first race.
Right.
Like, get that out of the way.
I got the jitters out, I got the stress out.
To be fair to you, of course, you're, like, standing on the pedals and, like, trying to get visibility since,
yeah, there's, like, there's this, like, you know, you have the gas brake and your clutch. There's a little spot where they have, like, a footrest, and I was using that to push myself up on the straightaway, and I'm like, go! Like, the recent feature, for me, it was a complete 360 from the first time I ever went out for a feature to the most recent one. Like, I was comfortable, I was running better lines, I wasn't in my head, I just locked in, basically. Yeah. It was so much fun.
This is the Dirty Dick's Tropical Hot Sauce.
That's a name.
So it is a name. Honestly, the name is not what sold me. The fact of how different it sounded is what sold me.
When I looked at it, I was just like, okay, what is this crap that's just trying to be like, oh, look, we're hot, blah, blah. And then it's freaking delicious.
Mm-hmm. Right? That one's really good. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something I would want at, like, a barbecue.
Right.
That's really good.
You're a service tech at a local dealership in your area. And I'm just curious, what inspired you to get into that field as far as work goes?
Honestly, I don't know if many people know, but I am adopted and everything like that. I've also been in foster care and etc. My biological dad was never really my dad, but we found areas to bond in. So really what started it all was, like, motorcycles. He's a big Harley guy and everything like that. So I took very big interest into, like, motorcycles and stuff like that. And then he was a mechanic. So when I did tag along with him, I was just, like, super jittery. And I was like, I want to touch something. Like, let me touch. So his manager let me start working on little moped scooters. Okay. Taking the battery out, swapping the batteries, taking panel pieces off. And then, like, I moved into other things. And then I got a dirt bike, and then I started learning how to do things on that. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the New Smyrna Canal car shows that they used to have, the Cruisin', they had, like, I used to ride my bike down there. And that's how I started learning about cars, because I would either ride my bike or my skateboard, start asking people questions like, oh, what car is this? Like, what motor's in this? Stuff like that. And just, it kind of progressed from there. Okay. I've always, like, loved seeing the process of a vehicle being built and changed. Like, I would love to build my own bomber car one day. Like, from, like, the start. Like, stock a shell, build it into something, but that's going to take some time because it's really expensive. But, like, when I built my true, like, first, like, track fun car, like, I adjusted, like, the suspension, we did BC coilovers, you know, did an aftermarket hood, different sway bars, track tires, or I did the RPF1 Inky wheels and everything like that. I did the paint job and stuff like that, and just basically seeing it come from like just something that's dying in somebody's yard to what it is now. It's just like I love seeing that. It's actually funny, Eddie ended up with my very first Mustang.
Really? Okay.
So there's a whole story on that, which how I kind of met Eddie. And my adoptive dad knew I was into cars and everything like that. And I had like a Honda Civic, and I was like, I cut the exhaust off it. I was doing whatever teenage kid, my dad would say whatever teenage boy would be doing, but I was doing it. We found me a V6 Mustang. I called it my Frankenstein build because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying. Like I did long tube headers, and then I lowered it. Those two don't mix because I was scraping on everything. The more like I got into building stuff, the more like I kind of was like, okay, I want to learn more. How do I learn more?
That's cool that you could take your passion and turn it into a career. And take something that, you know, as a dad, something you bonded with your dad with, and turn that into your life. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool story.
It's tough to find that, and that you were able to learn on the job and turn that into something. Rather than go to school for it and take the traditional, what would be considered the traditional
I'm getting certifications too, so I get paid to get certified.
Even better.
While I'm at work. So
Learn
instead of going to like, what is like Wyotech, I think it is, it's like a mechanic college.
I know somebody who went there.
Yeah, because I had looked into it, but at the time I was like, do I really want to go to college? Do I want to do this? But no, like when I got that, it was like I learned everything on the job. I've gotten certificates and everything through there, and then also it gave me more resources to work on my car, because now I have a lift. Like as long as I'm like, hey, are you guys cool with like me putting this on after hours and like doing oil change, doing tires, doing whatever. Like my service manager, like with the Mustang, I was like, hey, I'm track prepping, do you care? He's like, go for it. Like he loved it, so it was pretty cool.
I gotta say, as somebody who's into racing and can't change my own oil, pretty impressive. Cross flags, we're halfway through this gauntlet.
All right.
We are going to welcome you to the Carnival.
Yeah, it looks a little hotter on this side.
Yes. It is a Scotch bonnet sauce.
Is there ghost pepper in there, by chance?
Scotch bonnet. Or is there ghost pepper too?
You know what? Let me go check the label.
I tried ghost pepper one time, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. Like, there's a kick to it, 100%.
Scotch bonnet. Fatal Lil.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm probably not saying it right. And Scorpion.
Okay.
Oh,
Scorpion's probably what you're...
Yeah, that
probably
might be really the Scorpion.
Because I can feel it in the back of my throat.
Yeah.
I also kind of dipped it twice. I'm not going to lie.
You took a big girl serving there, for
sure. Yep. No, I was going to take less, but I saw how much you got, and I was like, all right, we got to...
Well, this one's so good.
It also broke in half, so I felt like most of them had to have it.
So there's a whole culture element to racing. Well, obviously there is, but there's a part of it that Ryan and I don't even really get to see firsthand, because during the races, he's in the announce booth, I'm up on the tower filming, you're down in the pits. If you could pick out one memory of something, and I'm either fishing for drama here, or maybe something silly that happened, or was there something that you remember that happened in the pits that you're like, oh man, there's a story there?
I still want to know the story about it, but I remember the last feature I was at in a number 3 car. It was after the Pro Trucks. Wow, my tongue is on fire.
Yeah.
There was a lot of... I was sitting at my truck, because it was, you know, where they do tech and everything, and my truck was here, and then we had the tow truck here, and I'm just like, la-di-dee-da, whatever. And I just hear yelling, and I'm like, something's not going well in tech right now. And I still don't really know what happened. That's when I found out there was actually... I think there's 2 girls in the Pro Truck series. And that's when I realized there was a second one. I was like, why is she mad? I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, I think we know which instance you're referring to, right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, but...
If you park over by tech, you'll notice there's a lot of drama in there. Because people are really happy when they come out of there, or really upset.
That was the first time, like, I really saw that, too. And I was like, because, like, Bomber A, we had the breakout rule, so we don't actually experience...
You guys
I haven't experienced tech yet.
Right.
So, like, for me, watching that, was, like, me experience tech for the first time. I'm like, oh... I was like, what is going on? I was like, that looks stressful.
Yeah, and it was between 2 very competitive teams. Maybe we'll dig in a little bit more when the camera's not rolling.
Works for me.
So I think you and I mean, for people who know what we're talking about, for whatever it's worth, I would say that you and I both have pretty positive opinions of
both sides.
The people who, yes, absolutely. And we also know that once that helmet goes on, your mentality changes.
Yeah.
And, I have a respect for that.
How many times have I had to talk about somebody that maybe did something unfavorable on the racetrack that I'm really close with, and I have to turn off the friendship part of this thing and just be like, I gotta talk about what happened on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's like one of the quotes I heard. Somebody was like, once you're geared up and you're in the car, like, you have no friends. Like, you guys are kind of...
That's a good way to look at it.
You guys, like, we could all, like, be supporting each other, helping each other, but it's like, we're all there to race. Mm-hmm. We're all there to be at the top.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We're all family when we come to the racetrack, but... I don't know, it's like when you get together with your family on Thanksgiving and you're playing cards at the end of the night, you want to beat all of your family members.
Exactly.
So it's the same idea with the race cars, too. You don't want any of them to have one up on you.
Right.
So things get heated. So
that's why I always go to the reunion with an ace up my sleeve.
Ah! There you go.
Right.
So how you doing?
I definitely opened my sinuses with that one. But I think I took that twice, so...
Yeah.
But,
well, you don't get to skip the next one.
No, I'm not skipping anything.
This is the Melinda's Boot Jalopy. This one definitely has your ghost.
Alright. It's not that bad. But I feel like it might sneak up.
This one lingers a little bit.
It's got some sweetness.
I feel like the more we'll talk, I'll be like,
Yeah.
I was like, I found it.
So, you recently went to the NASCAR race in Talladega.
Yes.
Which is made me pretty jealous because that track's pretty awesome. I hear they have a pretty wild fan base over there. So what was the craziest thing you saw on your trip to Talladega?
What did I not see? And there it is.
Let's creep it up.
The second I went to go breathe in, I was like, hi, it's hot. Okay.
Here's Melinda.
Talladega did not miss a beat at all. Daytona definitely has, like, increased for, like, the money purposes. You know, they have the big screens, they have this, they've updated that, you know.
The fan experience is good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Talladega is definitely not updated. You know, I did, like, 30K steps out of the whole place. Like,
I believe it.
There's no screens. Like, when you're getting food, you basically, if you want to watch, you gotta pull it up on your phone really quick. Because, like, for me at Daytona, like, when I'm sitting, like, I'm staying, you know? Dega is definitely, like, you sit and stay kind of thing. But I got the whole 9 yards. Like, I got to watch fights next to me in the bleachers. Yeah.
Okay. What? Do you know? Could you tell?
Race. The ending of the cup race and everything.
I don't like Chase Elliott.
Because there was, like, where I was at, like, there was a little bit of everybody. Like, there was Denny fans, there was Kyle Busch fans, there was Joey. And it's just a whole mix of different people. But I guess, like, somebody got mad. It was, like, kind of, like, flung their beer. And, like, this group in front of us, like, this older lady. I don't know what actually, like, went down. But I guess somebody got mad about, like, that they got beer on them, even though when the race ended, everybody was throwing everything. Also, too, on TikTok, there was a different section where all the guys, they took their beers and went like this. Oh. So I guess that's just a thing there, maybe? Okay. I'm not sure.
They are rowdy for sure.
Sounds like an ICP concert with beer instead of Faygo.
Yeah. So they started running up to the bleachers to the group that we were in. So it was us and then, like, another group that we kind of made friends with.
In the middle of it?
Pretty much. And like, I'm sitting there like, oh, World Star, like, let's go, guys! I jumped a bleacher because they start going down the stairs. Like, they got dragged down, and I was like, oh, I'm getting this. I mean, Talladega Boulevard was just...
So you did get to do the Boulevard?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that's where the party's really at.
Oh, 100%, yeah. By the time I had a full Stanley of Jack Daniel's Honey and Ginger Ale. So
that'll get you where you want to go, yeah.
And I was like, I'm balling on a budget. Like, It was such an impulse trip. We made that trip happen in less than a month.
Nice.
And it starts raining, too. So
NASCAR was there, so yeah.
It was they beat the weather, like, with the Xfinity, and then, you know, they thought it was going to rain out, and it rained that night, and then the cup race went on. So it was, like, right in the middle of, like, two of the races. It was like a movie. Like, I was dancing in the rain on Talladega Boulevard. There was, like, a bunch of people taking shots. There was also a camper that had, like, a homemade, like, stage out of wood. Okay. I don't know how sturdy it was, but I was not drunk enough to go test it.
That would have taken 2 Stanleys.
Yeah.
And you need one to fill your gas tank at the end of all of it.
Yeah. I was so fucked up. I basically was like, oh, it's bros and hoes, because the top rack basically was all girls and then it was all guys, and I'm like, yeah. I was like,
so you really did the whole. You didn't just see the experience. You were the experience. Okay.
It was so crazy. Like, they just don't care out there. It's great.
Go for the party, stay for the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The impulse trips, definitely take them.
This is the Reaper Squeezins by Puckerbutt. Smokin' Ed
really
himself.
They really picked the names.
Yes.
They really were like, hey, this is the
Dirty
name, guys.
Dick, Puckerbutt.
I feel like that's going to be the worst one.
It's one of those sauces that's so hot that they don't even bother with other ingredients. It's just the Carolina Reaper pepper and the vinegar needed to break it down into a sauce.
And then
interesting.
Some more Carolina Reaper pepper.
That's great.
Yeah.
A little nervous for this one.
Just going for it.
Hey, Skinny said, dip it. Don't be a pussy. Hey, I'm not being a pussy. I'll regret it later.
Or immediately.
Oh, so good. But so mean.
Wow. It just gets straight to the point. And it's not like hot yet. Like I can just feel the air in my mouth, and it's like it's working its way.
You can feel your body now doing things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay.
So, what are your next steps as you approach the back half of your rookie season?
If I don't die, I can tell you. Wow. I think drinking made it worse.
Yeah.
Fuck. Definitely we're switching everything to another car, and we're getting that all ready. Either I'm going to go back into that one, or we're going to just see how it all goes, because right now I'm just a driver. But I had mentioned to Eddie that I would like to get my own car, because now that I've actually gotten to experience it, experience the powder puff and the feature, and wow, hello, that's hot.
Yeah.
It's something okay, I want to invest my time, my money into. I was fully ready to, live by New Smyrna's schedule for Bomber A. So, I have, a wedding coming up. The first thing I did, I was like, do they overlap? Please tell me they don't overlap. Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to choose. Obviously, I had to choose my friend's wedding, but I was like, I want to be in a race car. And it worked out perfectly. I go to Formula Drift every year. So, it was racing, Formula Drift, racing, wedding, it was all working out. So I was really ready to this is gonna be my weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was so happy about that. So I really want to continue doing that. Once I get my own car, when we get Eddie's other one set up, we can play cat and mouse on practicing, actually get to experience following lines and stuff. Also too, I have more access to the car. I'm not always bothering Eddie. He's focusing on the business and everything like that, which is fantastic. He's doing so good with that. But it's for me, it's I'm super focused on my racing, and for me, I want to grow. Maybe in a few years go to Bomber B, how Lindsay moved up into Bomber B. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was hell yeah, you go. That stuff's I want to go. Or even gain enough experience, and then if I make enough money, if I get a different career job, maybe I want to go to something bigger.
So you've had that little bit of a setback this year, but that has not deterred you from wanting to do this. That's
I definitely would like to do it. And also, too, I feel if I had my own car, maybe I could, reach out for more sponsorships and stuff like that. Because, for me, it's I'm a single mom and everything like that. So, my finances are so tight. And then I only have so much extra for, play money.
Right.
And then, so, I was
that goes quick on a race car, so.
Very.
Well, it's great that Eddie gave you the opportunity in the powder puff race.
Oh,
and then he basically turned over the reins, because he's been racing that car himself. Mm-hmm. Almost won a championship last year, so I'm sure he's been very instrumental on helping you get comfortable and continue to want to do this as well.
I would really love to experience Victory Lane, being up there, or just getting close to it, fighting for nose on nose, almost who side by side, Dustin and Brandon, that one time they were right there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Even just experience that, I would live for that. It'd be so cool.
You still want to do it after all the craziness that you've seen, been a part of, so definitely happy to hear that.
Yeah, I definitely know racing is things don't go as planned, things get damaged, of course it sucks, even again, after my first feature, I went so long with the powder puff to the feature.
It's starting all over again.
It kind of felt like that, and then plus just adjusting it for me to race. Alright, I had coworkers because I had tapped the wall, they're alright Danica, and I was alright, you go out there. It's I was already ready to hear everything, so of course that's annoying, but it's yeah, it's circles, but there's so much more that goes into it. When I first attempted short track, anything I learned for road course, I just had to throw it out the window. Because they use brakes, because like whenever you're coming up, like they have like the 3 cones, 2 cones, 1 cone, and that's how your braking goes, and then you go into the apex and everything like that. I really underestimated the whole no brakes, you know?
To go fast in the Bomber A's, you just gotta
go.
Yep.
It was an experience, and I definitely want to keep experiencing it.
You've survived some of the rookie jitters, and
100%.
you also survived our crazy gauntlet of hot sauces here.
Yes.
So congratulations on making it all the way through.
I think I'm like sweating a little bit.
Yeah, there is one piece of chicken left, and that's not because I'm not very good at counting. And I didn't have Peyton count this week. We'd like to let you tell us which one you thought was your favorite.
That one's kind of hard. Because I'm torn between yours and kind of like the barbecue one, which I think was like the Dick's one, right?
The Dirty Dick's,
which is pretty funny. Honestly, I like jalapeno poppers, so
nice.
I'm going to have to go with yours.
Well, I think I've...
How about that?
I might be onto something with this screen.
Yeah. If we go back and do scoreboard, I'm pretty sure you're in the lead by at least maybe 2 points.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely going to double dip that one.
Go for it. This has been fun. It's been good getting to know you a little bit better as well as one of our newer drivers. And I want to give you a chance to do a burnout, give some love, let everyone know where they can find you.
I have my YouTube channel, which is Missy Melissa, that you can search. I have my Instagram, which is Missy_Melissa129. And then I have my TikTok, which is Missy_Melissa1299, because my first one got deleted. Love that.
Hopefully you'll see her back on track at New Smyrna.
Hopefully I will be. Just
shortly.
Don't have a time frame, but I will be back out there.
With Speedway video. Took me a second to remember what it was called. It's been 2 weeks.
You want to do that again?
Let's hit it one more time.
See, we mess up for the guests.
I'm like, what is my channel called again?
I know.